For the digestive system, we are interested in some salivary glands. Here we find the parotid salivary gland, a large gland found at the base of the ear. It is drained by the parotid duct right there. The duct carries the secretions from the parotid gland down into the oral cavity. Inferior to the mandible, we find the submandibular gland right here. And we get another view of that right over here. Here's the submandibular gland. And with the parotid gland removed in this part of the model, we can see the submandibular duct carrying the secretions up to the oral cavity. In this view also we can see the sublingual salivary gland and a bunch of little ducts extending from that to the oral cavity. Here we have some digestive structures. The digestive structures that we're looking at right now are the ones we can see from the mid-sagittal section of the head. Here we have the hard palate, the bony hard palate, and here we have the soft palate that ends in the uvula right there. This region right here, this common region, is the pharynx. This common region, later we'll divide those up into more specific regions, but right now it's just the pharynx. We have some tonsils in the pharyngeal region, one here, one here, one here. We'll be talking about those later. Now, we move on down. We have, right in this region, we have the larynx. We'll be covering that in more detail. But at the point of the larynx is where the food would not come into the windpipe. The food would travel down into the esophagus. So here's the esophagus. Here is the opening, or the space in the larynx. The space is called the glottis. And this is the epiglottis, which flaps down and covers that opening when you swallow food. So we'll follow this down. Here is the esophagus. The esophagus, we come to the stomach. So here's the stomach. Right here we see the lower esophageal sphincter right there, sometimes called the cardiac sphincter. This is the cardiac region of the stomach, right in this region right here near the cardiac sphincter, right there. From the probe up would be the fundus of the stomach. Probe down would be the body of the stomach. Here would be the pyloric region of the stomach. Here's the lesser curvature. Here's the greater curvature of the stomach. And right here we would have the pyloric sphincter, which separates the pyloric region of the stomach from the small intestine. So here we have the small intestine. We see at this point the pancreas. The pancreas we see in the crook of the small intestine. Now, to actually see that, I'm going to remove the section of large intestine here. So here is the small intestine, The small intestine bends. The duodenum of the small intestine extends from the pyloric sphincter down to the first big bend right here. So this would be the duodenum right here. And again, that we see the pancreas in the bend of the duodenum. So here's the pancreas, and then it kind of moves transversely over there. After we get past that big bend in the small intestine, we are in the jejunum. It continues along as the jejunum until it changes into the ileum, and we can spot the ileum best. Right here is the ileum, and we know it's the ileum because it joins the large intestine. So here's the large intestine of this particular model. That's kind of cut out here, but you can see the small intestine joining the large intestine, and it does that at the ileocolic, colic for colon, ileo for ileum, sphincter. So that would be right in this region right here. There is a little blind sac. It's kind of the end of the large intestine. It kind of is a blind sac right here. That is the cecum. Sometimes this is referred to this little sphincter is referred to as the ileocecal valve or sphincter right here. Either name is appropriate, ileocolic sphincter or ileocecal sphincter. Now I have put that section of large intestine back on. So here we have the large intestine. Here's the ascending colon or ascending large intestine. Here's the transverse, and then over here we see the descending. And right about here it becomes the sigmoid, and then we are into the rectum. So here would be the rectum, and then we get down to the anus at about this level right here. An associated gland of the digestive system is the liver. Embedded in the liver is the gallbladder. The gallbladder is drained by the cystic duct. The liver is drained by the hepatic ducts. Here's a hepatic duct, here's a hepatic duct, and here's the common hepatic duct. The cystic duct and the common hepatic duct join to form the common bile duct, which carries the secretions from the liver down into the small intestine.